Hello, everyone. Hello, class. How we doing today? God bless you. I'm so glad that we get to spend another night together. We're gonna go over some really cool concepts here. I'm gonna have some announcements for you guys as well. So I'm gonna give everyone a minute to jump on, grab the coffee, grab your notepads. Okay, I'm gonna explain a couple of things. I also want to read something that was so encouraging from a client. Wonderful lady sent me this article. I'm gonna go ahead and read it for you guys. I'm gonna wait another minute or two, allow everyone to step in. In the meantime, I'm gonna go over some announcements. Number one was today was the first successful day of me going to a elementary school today. Taught about, I want to say, like there was like 40 kids in the room, all like 8, 9, 10 years old, fourth grade, fifth graders. I mean, so into the lesson. We were going over personal finance. We were talking about velocity banking. We were talking about kingdom authority. We were talking about, establishing your goals by answering the four major questions in life, which is who am I? Why am I here? What's my purpose in life? Where am I going? And we were really just diving into that, and the kids loved it. They really did. And I mean, for like a nice hour, I mean, these kids had notes filled. It was awesome to see that. Um, let's see. Another announcement I have is we got Valentine's Day coming up. All right. If I got an idea for some of the gentlemen in here, you're looking to get your old lady something nice, you should buy her some gold. Okay. So if you look in the YouTube description where there's going to be a link that says buy gold here, you can check it out. They've got some unique little collector items, these little gold cards that, here's one example right there. But I did it last year for my girlfriend. She loved it, and you can give it to people as a way of showing how much your relationship has grown. And it's kind of like gold. Gold never loses value, right? It doesn't lose its intrinsic value. So it's ever increasing, just like the love for your woman. So, nice thing to definitely look into if you're looking to do a little something different. And on to the article that I received from this wonderful lady. She gave me words of encouragement, and I want to give these same words to you. It's a much bigger article, so I'm just taking a piece of it, and it's like a bit of a prayer, but it's also like, listen, if you've been watching all my videos and you've been doing the work, you've been doing your chunks, you've been, sticking to the plan that I set out for you, you've just been really educating yourself. Listen, blessings are about to occur. You're about to step out of, you know, the problems and into victory. Okay. So here it's the section is the war is over. It says maybe the most powerful is a declaration for many of you reading this. Some people who have faced a battle of a lifetime or ongoing warfare in their health, family, finances, ministries, and jobs are going to come to an end. Okay. End of the war in 2019. A commissioning to cross into what was promised by God. Okay. God has won the war, and he's going to deliver this victory to everyone. Okay. Some of whom have prayed, or if you've been praying for a breakthrough, you've been praying for this, you know, blessing to come hundreds of times for the breakthrough. And now you're going to receive it. It's going to begin in 2019. And it says, like in Daniel 10, when the angels comes through with the victory and says, Daniel, since the first day that you set your mind to gain understanding and to humble yourself before God, your words were heard. and I have come in response to them. But there was a war in the heavens causing this delay until supernatural help arrived. And now it's arriving for us. Many people are going to feel their long battles coming to an end. Okay. And then she wrote, Amen. And Denzel, God is using you to help others gain an understanding of how to be free financially in order to advance the kingdom. And that is exactly what I practice today on 9-year-olds, little boys and girls. Awesome. How our minds work, how open our minds are when we're so young. So it's just really cool to see that. Real quick, want to say hello to everyone in the room here. Let's see. Hello, Rich. At it again, Rich. Ruben, at it again. How are you? Evil says, just opened my Navy Federal account today. They have the best Heloc product I've ever found. Please send me the details. Love to read that. Hello, Basketball Reasons. Craig, how are you? How's everything going? True, what's up? Master Barbara, how you doing? John, Jamia, hello. Dwight, Albert, hello. Chrissy, hello. How are you? You're freezing. Yeah, it's like I've been talking to people for the past 2 days now, and y'all telling me it's like -20, negative like 40 at night. I'm like, oh my god. I get a little 55-degree weather over here in Florida. I'm like, like freezing. I kind of, I lost my cold-bloodedness from New York. I lost it. Hello, Joel, Matthew, Jorge. How you doing? All right, so let's dive into the lesson here. This is an interesting case. Really, really you're gonna like the results here on this one. So we have a husband and wife. All right. You know what I really like? When I'm talking on the phone to like just mom, and then like, once the conversation starts building up, husband, steps in, he's like, hey, Denzel, look, I got this. I got money coming through here. What are we gonna do with this? And I'm like, oh, okay. Someone's getting involved. I like that. I like that. Both parties really, really getting involved. So here we have couple. Conservatively, their income per month, 5,489. They have a business as well, so they got extra income. Expenses starting out 4,339.49. Total debt just under 300,000. Cash flow 1,100 bucks. Okay, and we got approved for a HELOC for $39,100. Not 39. They didn't. They were like, listen, we'll give you an extra $100. Here you go. 39,100. Here's the interest rate. I believe they're getting a promo for the first 3 months or 6 months, if I read that right. And they should have access to this HELOC after February 11th. So we're preparing right now. We're getting everything in order. We're switching the bank accounts. We're linking the accounts. We're setting up the auto pays, or maybe we're turning off auto pays. We're moving the monies, right? We're doing all this pregame work. We're getting ourselves ready for the blessing, okay? So we've decided our first chunk is going to be $9,979. That'll be in February after the 11th. And our cash flow is going to go up 170 bucks, okay? And that means our expenses are going to go down 170 bucks, okay? Now, I'm going to go over something real interesting here. I want you to pay attention on how we use extra monies on top of the monthly income, right? Because there's some of you that say, hey, Denzel, well, what do I do with this extra 10K that I have in savings? Or, I'm about to, get a quarterly bonus, or, this or that, should I, invest some? Like, how can I flip this money? Okay, flip. We want to flip money, all right? So here's the starting balance on the HELOC owed. right? Because that was the chunk. And they initially had 4,000 in savings. So I was like, hold on, don't use it yet. Let's wait till we get the HELOC. Let's make our chunk. As soon as you make the chunk, you're going to dump your savings of 4,000 and your income all in there, which would bring the balance real close to zero. Okay. And then expenses are going to come back out, right? Notice expenses dropped a little bit. Okay. Leaving us a balance in March of 4,659.49. Okay. Now, husband says, listen, gonna have an extra 6,000, okay? And I'm planning on using this money to buy a vehicle. How should we go about doing this? Okay? First thing I recommended to them and everyone else is when you buy a car, you should totally look up a company called Auto Advisors with an S at the end, autoadvisors.com, a green website. Put your information in, and let me tell you this, the service is superb, soup to nuts, awesome, good experience that I had with them. So when he comes into this 6K, I'm like, look, instead of using that 6,000 cash directly to buy the car, we should pull from the HELOC, okay? And we should make our next chunk, all right? Because the balance is really low. And mind you, I got a lot of space in this HELOC. And another reason why I'm going to be making such a drastic chunk difference right here. If you notice that, you're like, whoa, Denzel, how they go from 9 to 19? How you do that? All right, bear with me. I'm gonna break it down. So they got this extra 6,000 coming in, right? So we're gonna strip 6,000 out of the HELOC. We're gonna strip another $19,000 out of the HELOC. I know they can handle this, right? I know husband and wife can handle this. I know me, I'd probably wet myself, okay? Listen, I made a chunk the other day of $4,400, $4,417, and I was like, oh my God, what the hell did I just do? Right? You ever make that first chunk and you're like, oh Jesus, Denzel better be right, because if he ain't, I'm a fly down the floor. I'm gonna knock this boy out if this ain't right. Because let me tell you. So I don't know about you, but I know in the very beginning, it can be like nerve-wracking to make that big chunk payment, and settle a debt. It can be a little nerve-wracking at first, but I know they can handle it. So anyways, balance is gonna go all the way up to 30,000, okay? 30,500. That's what it'll look like. But remember, we're gonna have that 6,000, okay? That he made, and the income for the month of March. So minus 6,000, minus 54.89, and then take expenses out, right, for the month. Okay. Now, obviously, that's not exactly how it's going to look. We're going to have like money going in, money coming out, money going in, like it's going to be looking weird. But at the end of the day, the balance should end up somewhere around $23,205.71, somewhere around that number, which is perfect because it's right within my 66% range of the amount of money that I use when I chunk. And what I did for you guys in this scenario is I displayed interest costs right here. Okay, so this right here is interest costs, about what we would pay in the month of March, $135. Here's what's really cool. When we made this chunk right here of 19,865.73, it was towards student loans. Okay. So what I forgot to factor into the numbers here is that their cash flow actually goes up about $125. That's really cool. The other thing is they were paying about $150 of interest every single month on the student loans. So we have, by completely wiping out partial of the student loans, we have a positive just on interest savings alone. Okay, we have a positive gain, and then we also have a positive gain on cash flow, which is $125. So not bad. Okay, so now we do nothing. After we do such a big chunk like that, now it's just velocity banking time. Okay, so you're gonna see all throughout from April all the way to October into November, December. Okay, what I display for you guys, you really pay attention to this, is we got income going in, expenses coming out, and notice the number in red is the balance at the end of each and every month. So you can see how the balance drops each and every month. But notice what else drops. The interest cost drops each and every month, right? And that was a big reason why I decided to guide them to say, you know what? Make this big chunk of 19,865 not because only of the interest savings, but also the net positive cash flow that we get from this. And another big thing that I'm betting on, okay, is wife in this scenario, her income is going to go up. It's going to double. Okay, so if she lands that job somewhere around this time, August, let's say we get an extra $1,200 of income, right? Very conservative. An extra $1,200 going into the scenario here for the rest of the year. Okay, I'm displaying worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, she ends up in December with balance owed on the Heloc somewhere around 12K, right? But if she lands that job in August, right, for the new school year, this balance will be somewhere around 6K or much less, probably at zero, right? It'll probably really zero out, okay? Now, what else is also going to give me a nice little boosty here and get me all excited, right, is when husband in the business makes more dough. Okay. He was like, listen, conservatively, they're looking at an extra, I'll write it in green, man, green for money. They're looking at an extra 15K to throw into the scenario here. So whenever we get extra money, whenever we're doing velocity banking, extra money, what are we going to do, class? We're going to dump it into the Heloc first, whether we're somewhere around here or here. You know, maybe he gets like 5K, 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 or maybe 10K, 5K, however he gets this money. His first move is going to be to dump it into the balance on the Heloc to cut off this each and every time, right? Just cut it off throughout the months, save us some more money, increase our cash flow, and speed up our next chunk towards the next debt. Now, this is showing a 12-month display, okay, from January all the way to December, right? And when I did the math here, when you factor in all their debt payments, the chunking that we did, okay, what I found really interesting is that they're going to pay anywhere from around like $53,000 in the first year. Most likely more because of this number right here, which I didn't factor in. But if they just paid $53,000 per month towards debt, they'll be debt free in 5.6 years or less. Okay? And that's worst case scenario. That's without this income increase. Okay, so we got a lot of factors here. We got a lot of income potential. That's another beautiful thing about velocity banking here is, listen, you should always be focusing on trying to increase your income. Don't stay stagnant, right? Figure out ways that we can increase our income. Can we start a business? Can we do a little side hustle? Can we, can we send the kids to work? Right? The 18-year-old, and that can we send him, make him go work and earn his keep, so to speak? What can we do to bring in more cash flow? Can we convince the kids to get involved? Be like, hey kids, give us all your money. All right, we're gonna put it in this thing and we're gonna make you money. Okay, just convince them, right? Whatever we got to do to bring in more income is really going to improve the numbers no matter what. When we're doing velocity banking, it's always going to improve the numbers. So that's another thing to really be considerate about. And finally, the last thing I want to go over before I dive into some questions here is whether to pay off student loans or pay off your mortgage. Okay, so in this case right here, we had this 19,000 of student loans, but we also had another 23,000 in student loans. So when I was looking at the numbers, I'm like, do I want to waste another year, right, or less, trying to wipe out 23,000 of student loans, or am I okay with letting it kind of sit there and going after the mortgage? Because the faster I can build equity in that mortgage, I can raise this up, I can get that higher, right? And the other thing is I can save more money on interest. When I was doing the math, I was like, if all they did was make $16,000 chunks every 8 or 9 months, right? And I know they're going to be able to do much better with, like I said, extra income, and then the wife increasing her income, that this number might be 16,000 every 6 months, right? Which is what I always like to do. I always like to put my nowadays, like I always like to have my chunks like in 6-month increments. I just feel like I go a lot quicker, and then I'm able to get like an extra chunk every single year, like sometimes 3, potentially even 4. Okay, so that's a interesting thing to think about if you're in the same situation where you're like, I got these student loans. If it's a low payment, right? Because there's some people with student loans that have like $500, $700 payments, then without a doubt in my mind, like, hell yes, we're going to tackle that. But if your student loan payments, like it's a big amount, like 20, 30, 40, 50,000, but the monthly payment is only $150 or $200, then I might be a little hesitant to pay that off first, because I could get started on the mortgage, right? And start saving thousands of dollars in just interest savings on my mortgage, and rapidly increasing equity, especially if we're in the first couple years of their mortgage. All right, I think we're in the first couple years of their mortgage. So now is the best time to pay off the mortgage, is in the first couple years, because after you've had a mortgage for 15 years, 20 years, and you've got like maybe 10 years left, maybe like 8, 10 years left, the bank already got you. The bank already took you for a ride. They already made their money. They're profiting in the last couple years. But if you're in the very first couple years of your mortgage, the first year, 2 years, 3 years, those are the most vital years to gain instant equity in your property and can also increase our line of credit, our Heloc, at a very fast rate. Okay? So let's dive into some questions here. Anyone's have any thoughts on this scenario? I really like this one because I just like the fact of when I talk with couples that are always like thinking how can they bring in more cash, right? More income. That's not something that I really teach, like how to make money. I just show you how to manage what you have. But I always like that thinking on the move here. How can we make more income? All right, so let's see who's got some questions. Who's got some questions? Hello, Denzel. I'm really looking for velocity banking tonight. Yep. Glad you're here, Anthony. John says I got an offer from Third Federal for a 4.49 HELOC. That's below prime. Pretty cool. Carlos, what's up? New York in the house. New York. Like it. Let's see. What is the name of that service again for buying recommended car? Okay, thank you, Carlos. Yep, Auto Advisors. Yeah, definitely look that up. Listen, my mom went to go get a car. 2017 Hyundai Tucson. Spent 4 hours at the dealership and closed on it's a lease, $398 a month. Okay, not terrible. We had a GMC Terrain that we were leasing, and we were going over on the miles, so we just had to get out of it, right? So we were paying $437 on that, and now with a Hyundai Tucson, paying $398. Okay, this was before I knew how to buy a car. The very next week, there was a car buying seminar going on at my job. And the people that were putting it on were the people from my credit union that I had a line of credit with. I was like, is this a message from God that I need to get me a whip, right? So I go to this car buying seminar, I sit in it, I get my mind blown, right? I thought I was learning velocity banking all over again. They were giving these awesome concepts on how car buying works and how the dealership works and all this stuff. Basically, I call up Auto Advisors the next day. I'm like, look, I need a car for myself. At the time, I was sharing the car with my mom. And I had just became a manager at the job that I was at. So I was like, I need to be dedicated. I need to make sure I'm on time. I don't have car issues. So got myself a car. I walked into that same dealership, right? But you know how when you go to the dealerships where the strips, where it's like a bunch of different dealers, okay? My mom went into Hyundai, right? But this is so weird. Auto Advisors put me with Subaru, I think it was, or Mitsubishi. So I went in there, but I told them I wanted a Hyundai, right? What was cool is that they sell all the cars on the lot, right? So I'm in there. I might have spoke to these guys for 20 minutes. They got me the car I wanted. I test drove it. We came back. I said, I like the car. I want the car. Here's my budget. I told them my budget was $200 a month and I had $2,000 to put down. What can you do for me? They ran my credit. Listen, my credit was at 631. I was in like maybe tier 4, tier 3, like not good, right? Listen to this. Ready? I I am the primary owner on mom's vehicle, right? So, and that was literally a month apart. So my credit score was down because I just got a car under my name. And now here I am trying to get another car. 631 credit score. I got my auto advisor right next to me doing all the talking. I'm like, listen, hey, whack him if he doesn't make a deal, okay? Because I need this car. So he's like, you know how they put you on ice? They go back, right? Came back. All they said was, look, we'll do the deal. I, I was like, I was like, what? Well, do the deal. Like I thought I was gonna get a 9, right? They put me from tier 3 or tier 4. They bumped me up to tier 2. Okay, which people you know to get to tier 2 you have to have at least like a 680 or 670. They gave me the car at $200 a month, and I put an additional $250 extra on top of the 2,000. So I put 2,250 down, paying 200 a month, 12,000 miles. They took off registration, title, tags, fees, nothing. I didn't pay nothing. I gave him my 2,250. I walked out the door with the car. I said, "Thank you very much." I signed a couple papers, out the door. Yo, that was a 1 hour. I was like, I thought I was buying an Xbox. Like I was in and out, right? Amazing. So if anyone's looking at buying a car and you want to do velocity banking with it, listen, pull from the Heloc, get the car, pay yourself back. Keep things going. So this is a really cool example of how we can do velocity banking and still buy things and still get things and still live a life and still invest in ourselves to improve our our income, things like that. So let's see. One of the questions we got. Oh, Walter, can you also consider that student loan interest is low and is tax deductible? Can that debt be left for last? Yeah, a lot of cases so far, a lot of cases, the student loans are like the last one. The only reason why I'm going to attack a student loan is if the monthly payment is like hundreds of dollars a month. Like it's like a kicker. Like it's like knocking you down. It's like 500 a month, 600 a month. Then I'm like, yeah, we need to hit that one up. We need to get it, you know? Let's see. Yep. John, you got it right. The focus is increased cash flow. Irma, Denzel, I admire your knowledge and intelligence. Way to spread wealth knowledge. Thank you so much. What a beautiful comment. How you doing, Floyd? Um, let's see. How does it impact your income and expenses? I don't know. Oh, you're probably talking to someone else. All right. Rich, Denzel, check this out. My income is 81 a month. I have about 1,500 cash flow when making my chunks. If I keep them around 10K, I will almost zero it out before expenses in a couple months. This will keep my interest expense down. Makes sense? So we got 81 going in, but what you didn't go over, you didn't mention expense number, the expense number. Okay. Oh, you got a personal line of credit, 25,000 last chunk. That's a big chunk. You made a $17,000 chunk. You owe 9.8 now, and my remaining debt is 20K or more. Wow. So you're going to be done by the end of the year, buddy. And then you're also have you spoke to my team yet, Rich, about the life insurance? Because I saw your name come across. You filled out a form for the whole life policy. Is anyone working with you so far? I don't want to leave you hanging because I'm going on vacation. So I don't want to delay you. You can, my team is more knowledgeable than I am on the infinite banking concept. So I'm learning from them and they're teaching me and then I'm teaching you guys. So, sometimes I miss things or maybe I make a mistake. You get it right from them and they'll take good care of you. Right. And some of them, I think some of them watch my channel a little bit. So they appreciate the velocity banking concept as well. Oh, you owe 250,000. Okay. You tripping. We need a, yeah, we're doing work together, man. We're going to kill that. Don't worry. John says, so if you can chunk that balance with a safety cushion of at least 20%, then do it. Yeah, right? Because that's, it's a little more than the space that I like. I like to have at least 30% space in my line of credit, you know? If I have a line of credit that's 20,000 and up, okay? Or a Heloc like this. I do prefer to keep 20 to 30% space always, at all times, just for those what if moments, things like that, you know? And then I also don't mind having a couple of credit cards, couple of 0% credit cards just sitting there for, what if moments. I gotta, something came up for the kids, a birthday, you get invited, the neighbors invite you over to a couple drinks or a barbecue, you gotta buy stuff, you can always throw it on the credit card, let it sit there, and then just pay yourself back before the interest rate expires, or you pay yourself back on the following statement on the due date. Okay. Let's see. Um, do you advocate getting a first lien HELOC? If yes, do you have anybody who does it here in Cali? Um, I'm not a big advocate for first position HELOCs. Um, yes, they work, right? I won't deny that. They work. It's a simple concept of, if you got a $300,000 property and the bank is willing to convert that into a HELOC, my suggestion would be to have interest, principal, and interest payments. I would not go with interest only payments. The only reason why I say that is due to what I've seen people go through, right? So math is great, right? Math can tell a lot, but it's the user. It always comes down to the user. How does the individual use the concept? So I've had 3 cases so far, 2 in California and 1 on the East Coast side, where these guys got these massive HELOCs, right? 200, 300, almost $400,000 HELOCs, and they're making interest only payments, which is coming out to somewhere around $1,300, $1,500, or maybe as high as $1,600, right? And mind you, if you did the first lien HELOC, there's no space in the HELOC because you've just moved your whole mortgage debt into that first position HELOC. So now you got we borrowed from Peter to pay Paul, basically, to try to save money on interest, which we are technically. Only if we do velocity banking will we save that. Now, the other thing we have to make sure is you better be making like 10K plus a month, right? You better be making good money if your HELOC is like a 300,000, 400, $250,000 HELOC. Because if you're making this kind of money and you have interest only payments of $1,200, $1,300, understand that when we make a chunk, right? When we make a chunk, whether it's half the income, understand that they take the whole payment first. So nothing goes towards principal. How do you pay your bills? Right? How do we take more money out if there's no space in the HELOC to do so? Do you see where we can fall into some issues there? So what they teach is to go get credit cards and run some bills on there at 0%. But see, I don't like doing that because we might have too many things going on, right? And I've seen this with dads, with moms, with households. So I'm just giving you what I've been seeing. I don't like it. I prefer getting a second position HELOC. Mind you, I'm not even trying to get all the equity out. I'm getting like 20% equity, 30, 40, like nothing large. And then I'm taking that equity and I'm paying down debts massively. So I'm not causing any crazy attention on myself. I'm not maxing out the Heloc, not doing anything crazy. Let me know your thoughts on that whole spiel that I just did. Okay, let me see. Walter. Yeah, because I was talking to you, Walter. So what are your thoughts on that? Um, I'm gonna work on my second mortgage next, then I will switch to a Heloc. I owe 30K on my second. Okay. Denzel, is it better to get a Heloc or a personal line of credit? I have a mortgage with excellent credit. Carlos, the way I would answer that question is based on your four numbers. Okay, so after I know your four numbers, then I'm gonna be like, all right, dude, if you're making 15K a month, we don't need no personal line of credit because personal lines of credit only go so high. I think the highest that I've seen on personal lines of credit are like maybe 30, 40, maybe 50,000, but I have not seen that yet come across my desk. I've seen better options with HELOCs. Now the other question is, Carlos, do you even have equity in your mortgage to get a HELOC? If not, then yeah, I'll go for the personal line of credit. Start me off with like 15K, 25K, give me something, right? Get this ball going. Right? And it's nice. Having a personal line of credit is kind of cool. It's like, private, it's not tied to anything, no collateral, unsecured. It's cool, right? Laura, for the whole life insurance, does your team make a mix with a term to keep the monthly payment down low? Yeah, that's the best way to minimize cost when we're doing the infinite banking concept, right? The primary goal is to minimize insurance premium. So what we do is we attach, supplemental term life insurance riders for like the first 7 years so we can pass the MEC test. And then afterwards, it pretty much drops off. Maybe it stays on for a little bit longer, but for the most part, drops off. You're no longer paying for that. And then now the cash value is going so fast that we don't even have to pay for the death benefit anymore. And our premiums stay low from the very beginning all the way to the end, up until the point where you want to turn the policy either into a reduced paid up option, or you just keep funding it, right? Where you can let the policy fund itself after the cash value has been growing at such a large rate, right? So, and then once you get to that point, now you got a big old line of credit right there. You don't need the banks no more. You don't need to be paying their interest rate. You could be getting paid on your own money. And you, my friend, have become the bank. Not bad, right? That's a good move. Dwight, sir, I have a debt of 98,000. If I do a chunk every 6 months, would that work? $700 from a rental I own outright. First of all, Dwight, $98,000 debt. What do I need? Four numbers. Once I know the four numbers, we got to get the line of credit. Once we get the line of credit, we determine chunk, whether we're going to use the two-thirds method, taking your cash flow, different things like that. Love to work with you, Dwight, on that. You can click some of the links below. You can check out my website, Denzel Rodriguez. We could do some work together, man. I'm ready to get employed for some new scenarios, right? I've been knocking out a lot of scenarios lately with a lot of people. I still owe some people some consultations. I know who you are. Be patient with me. You know, we're gonna make things happen. Let's see, Walter. You might get a larger liner. Yeah, yep. Does it matter just as long as I get a line of credit? There you go. That's the attitude. As long as you just get me something to work with, and we'll build from there. We'll build from there. Let's see. My expenses are around 60 to 100 a month, by the way. Okay, so if your expenses were 6,200, and then we had 8,100 of income, and what was the chunk that you were doing? Let's see. Um, my plan is to get my whole life policy by the end of the year, by the way. Yeah, I know you sent me an email. Yep. So you can get something designed now. You can then do the blood work and the underwriting so you can save age, okay? You can save age and that'll be good for about a year, okay? And by the time you get the thing in place, boom, rocking and rolling. You'll be ready to fund it completely. Not bad at all. Let's see. Carlos, income 6,200, expenses 57, cash flow 483. I owe 316,000. Okay, cool. The last thing you're missing is the line of credit. Once we get that in place, 483 is just enough cash flow to get this thing rocking. All right, we can do some damage. We'll probably start off, if you got me a 10,000 or a $15,000 line of credit, we can potentially start off with about a 9K chunk or a 7, maybe 7 to 9K. And I'm going to want to wipe out a specific debt that's going to increase my cash flow the fastest in the shortest period of time. Okay. Let's see. Wow, it's already been 45 minutes. Oh my God. Time flies. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions? Love this scenario right here. Let me tell you. You turn 47 in March. Okay, yeah, so that would be perfect, Rich. So you figure you get your numbers in line, you assume, okay, if I wipe out this amount of debt, get my cash flow this high, and get a policy by, December, the end of the year, as long as you've done your medical work, right, you would have saved age at 47. The other thing I recommend, you know, let's lift some weights, lose a couple pounds. Let's look healthy. Let's drink water for the next 30 days. Get the best rating on your life insurance policy, and that'd be another slick way to lower premium costs. Because once we get a little older, mortality rates, things like that, the older we get, the more costly life insurance becomes, but when we design life insurance for the banking concept, we don't got to worry about that. Okay, Rich, that could be another problem, by the way. Are you a stud? You said you're in great shape. Are you like, 6 foot stud, like massive muscle? Like, are you like huge? Because sometimes it's so weird. Like, I think this applies for like most of the men that are tall, like you're like 6'5". You're basically, you know, you're Olympic, Olympian, you know what I mean? You're a freaking solid dude. Technically, you're super healthy, but for some reason, like I've seen certain cases. I was talking to, I forgot who I was talking to about this, but the wife was like, my husband is 6'3" and he's 250 pounds and all muscle, and he got denied life insurance or something like that. I don't think either he got denied or he got put in a high rating. I don't know if anyone has information on this. Maybe my friend Oregon can speak on it. But really really weird. Something I wanted to learn about. Let's see. Jazzy, I just tuned in from South Florida. I have a question about Heloc. How soon after closing, is that what you meant to say? Closing? Can I get a Heloc And how much equity do I have to get a Heloc? um, you're in South Florida. Cool. So am I. Love to meet you one day. And let's see. After closing on a Heloc, I want to say it takes about a week before you actually receive the funds. And the other thing that you were asking is how much equity do you have to have in the home? I want to say as little as sometimes, not all, some cases 10%. I think most cases 20% equity. If you do not have any equity in your property, let's look at a personal line of credit. You're in South Florida, jot these down. We got Bright Star Credit Union, South Florida Credit Union, Tropical Credit Union, and a couple others. Okay, but those are the three ones that I know off the top of my head. Oh, you're closing on a new home. Okay, so you just bought a home, so that means there's no equity in there unless you've put 20% down. Different story. Okay, different story. All right, Rich, 5'7", 170 pounds. Great, yeah, man, you're like perfect. You're perfect. You'll probably get preferred, ultra preferred rating. You know, do the blood work. Make sure you drink water. You know, for the whole time period, and should be nice. You're right. Yeah, you're right. They go by weight and not body fat percentage. You are correct. That's why. That and something else. I do my homework on it. But yeah, it's like if you're like 6'5", naturally you're gonna be 250 pounds at least to just to look solid, right? And even if you're like LeBron with 5% body fat, I don't know, it's weird. It's like weird. They still don't give you the rating. Freezing here in Ohio. Listen to these Floridians all warm while we are freezing inside. Yeah, I'm grateful. I ain't gotta be in that negative weather, man. That's scary. That's scary. Yes, insurance company don't consider the difference in muscle weight and fat weight. Yeah, I'm sure over time they're gonna. I mean, I don't understand why they haven't. How many years people been buying life insurance? They haven't fixed that by now. Let's see. How you doing, Albert? I divide balance into payments, pay bi-weekly till it's paid off before due date. Makes sense? Or chunk on it one time hit so I can free up cash flow. I always like the idea of making one time smacking, like smack that debt one time, wipe it out, give me cash flow. I don't know if you're referring to micro chunking, which is something I've been playing with recently. Like I said, micro chunking really only applies to people with this, like at least 1,000 below this income, you know, or maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit lower. And you have to have like multiple different debts, not one big debt. If you have one big debt, it always makes sense to chunk big. But if you have a big debt spread out amongst 20 debts, then it might be real cool to micro chunk and get a quick cash flow gain, quick cash flow gain, quick cash flow gain, and you know, keep going. Let's see. Go a couple more minutes until we hit an hour. And then I have to start packing. I have not packed yet. Girlfriend's gonna knock me out if I don't pack and be ready for her by 9 a.m. tomorrow. I gotta be in Miami 9 a.m. in the morning so I can feed her breakfast and give her love. So I gotta be on top of my game. Let's see, Anthony Jones. Probably has to do with BMI, yeah? Yeah, that's right. You could be 6'2", 220 pounds, but be obese, which is ridiculous. Um, oh, you had good luck with TD Bank. Yeah, TD Bank's pretty cool too, man. I like them. TD Bank, they stay up late. I think they're open on the weekends. I like them. Let's see. Walter says the idea is to pull out all debt in the Heloc to have only one payment. Are you talking about the first position thing? I understand that. But still, can you handle that? Right? And if you're going to do it, if you're going to do the first position lien, I would prefer you to get principal and interest payments. Tall people tend to die sooner than shorter folks. Really? I didn't know that. What does your credit score have to be approved for a personal line of credit? Mary asked. Hello, Mary. It's based on the bank themselves, the credit union themselves. So a bank like PNC Bank, who I just applied for a $10,000 personal line of credit with PNC Bank, they told me you have to have a 650 credit score. That's their criteria. You have a 650 credit score? Cool. It's like done deal, right? So every whatchamacallit, every bank has their own criteria. Let's see. Okay, Rich says TD Bank requires 680 or above, right? See, everyone's a little bit different. The point is, Mary, you want to go ahead, do the homework in your area, find a list of credit unions and call them one by one. And you look at your credit score and see what you're most likely to get approved for. Okay? Let's see. Y'all do me a favor, like this video, man. Tripping. Everyone's into the lesson. Man, support me. Like the video. Give me some likes. Some extra views. Help a brother out. Jesus. Let's see. Ruben says I skipped his question. Hold up. What question? What'd I miss? Oh, the one that says 250 on the mortgage, 60K rental, income 5343. Okay. You made a chunk in January, 6K at rental. First target for Heloc. Should I get whole life sooner than later? That's a personal question. You know, coming from a life insurance agent, I don't want to just give you an easy answer and just say yes, right? But it's really a personal question. Like, number one, is the infinite banking concept something you want to do? If that's something you really want, then let's make it a goal. Let's fit it in to a chunk for our Heloc. So say, for example, you're making 6K chunks every 6 months. All right, well, maybe one chunk out of the year is towards a life insurance policy. So you factor in a chunk specifically from your line of credit or your Heloc to that life insurance policy, and not have a monthly expense. Like, you just boom, like that's your little savings plan as we're wiping out debts, right? And then once we're debt free, now you can fund that thing a little bit bigger, a little bit faster, right? And really get that thing going. So then we can turn around and do more of what you're already doing, real estate. Okay. Kevin Crawford, I love your contents from Washington State. Been watching you the last 2 weeks, putting your plan in action. Want to use 0% credit card to pay off 13K in taxes. I have a line of credit for 10,000. Which is better? That depends, Mr. Crawford. On these numbers right here. Get these numbers in line. If you can pay 75% or more of expenses with a credit card, then I might say, you know what? Let's use the credit card because it's at 0%, number one, to do a $13,000 chunk. if that's how much availability of credit you have, if you've got like a $15,000 or a $20,000 credit card, and you say we do a $13,000 chunk from it, 13,000 times the 3% balance transfer fee is only going to cost you $390. Okay? And like I said, if your expenses at least 75% or more that we can pay with a credit card, then I might give you the okay, because majority of your income plus cash flow plus the monthly payment on the credit card can flow that and pay off that credit card before the 0% expires. I'm assuming you have maybe a 6, 12, or 18-month zero interest on the credit card. So we'll see. We'll see. Cash flow. Oh, we got $2,100 cash flow. Then maybe I only really need like 50% of your expenses to run through that credit card, and we can wipe out the 13K, and then we'll jump to the line of credit. We'll to your line of credit to wipe out other debts. Okay? Ruben says, that was very helpful. Thanks. You're very welcome, sir. Anthony says, everyone watching should hit the thumbs up button. Help a brother out, man. Jesus. Let's see. Rich, sweet. My local TD bank told me 680. I had 780. Nice. So I got the second tier. 800 above gave you the top tier, yeah. Carter, have a great trip. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Any last words? Please pray for me that the cruise gets there, comes back safely, so I can come back and keep teaching velocity banking, keep doing the thing that I love. All right. If there's anyone new in here, I want to welcome you. Okay. Anyone new watching for the first time, you're a brand new subscriber. I'd love to work with you in the future. You can visit my website. You can visit my Patreon page. I got a bunch of links in the description and all my YouTube videos. You can see some of the projects that I'm working on. And then to wrap up, like I said, if you want to get your old lady something real nice, buy her some gold. Check out the link below. You can get her a nice little gold card. It says, I love you. I love you. Just like that. Or Happy Valentine's Day. Or if her birthday, like my girlfriend, her birthday's in February. So I get to double up on some gifts. It's like a boom, boom. Take care of that. So hope you guys enjoy yourselves. I'll be gone for the next 4 days. So I'll be unavailable, no Wi-Fi. I'm going dark, right? Just leaving the phone behind, going dark. Okay. Love you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to serve you day in and day out, and how everyone has been supporting financially with their time, effort, money. I mean, I love it. The amount of trust that this community is building little by little. Wow. We're going to look back 4 or 5 years when we're all debt free. We're going to look back, right? And be like, wow, what a journey, right? Let me tell you, God has something planned for you, and he's getting ready to release some blessings on you. So I want it to come upon you. I have you guys all in my prayers. I love you very much. Thank you for all your support. Have a wonderful evening.